I'm back to
Getting ready for my track debut.
Me and Paul joined jiu-jitsu, and well, we
tell me.
We joined MMA actually.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry as fuck.
We had our first class
already.
Yeah. We had I went the day I talked to you.
Yeah.
I went there and signed up, and we had our first class yesterday.
How was it?
It's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like our coach is great. He's totally like not trying to like just embarrass us. He's like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Really like, well, no, we didn't know what to expect, right? Like,
yeah,
I
want you to stick around, you know?
No, but like I went in there totally humble. He's like, what do you want to learn? I'm like, listen, I don't know shit. I took boxing when I was like 15 years old. I'm like, we're just a blank canvas, like just whatever you think. He's like, what disciplines? Because I guess they have like 4 coaches there, and they're specialize in different disciplines. And he's like, I specialize in jiu-jitsu and striking. I'm like, it's perfect. That's what I want.
That's what we need.
That's what I wanted to learn was both of those. So we started yesterday. Me and Paul were gassed as fuck.
God.
We didn't do any jiu-jitsu. It was all striking, but we were both fucking.
Yeah, but the good thing about that is it's only uphill from here, you know?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So, yeah.
It can't get any worse, you know?
Yeah.
I said that to Paul too when we left. I'm like, you know what? We can only get better. Like, there's no fucking.
every week is a PR now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though, man? I got to tell you guys, that's actually the exciting part for me, because like, you know, me and Paul were talking, and I said, you know, I still love training, obviously, but you know how it is. Like when you get to a certain point, when you're 44, you can't progress anymore. Like it's all, you know, you look what you look like. You're gonna lose muscle as you get older, and I have to purposely lose muscle anyway. So I'm like, there's none of that like progression in the gym that made you so like excited about it when you started.
I get it.
So it's like I feel like a rejuvenated sense of like, oh, I got something I can like learn how to do,
dive into and progress in, and like, sure.
Something I can like actually see results every week.
Yeah.
So it's actually helped me stick to my diet too. So I think for those that have been watching the podcast for a while, I think MMA Fouad is coming.
And MMA Paul too.
Start hosting the show with MMA gloves on. Welcome.
We're both gonna have cauliflower.
We've been reviewing last week's UFC this show.
No, but I like even today, like, you know, me and Paul I was exhausted after coming home from a road trip, so we didn't get into the gym, but I did cardio in my pool. I swam like fucking. I did like 30 laps or some shit. I had it on my phone or on my watch. So I'm just like, okay, every day I got to do something to get better. So it's cool to have something new. You know where this came from, Mike? It's your fault, because I was watching that Logan Paul documentary, and he was talking about how he was done with YouTube and he had something new to kind of Jake Paul. Yeah. He was talking about how he was done with YouTube, and he was like, he found a renewed sense of like purpose and joy in finding boxing. And I was like, man, that sounds like what I need. And then when we started, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is like, give me that.
It's cool. It's cool to learn something new too, you know? Because you're like, I have no boxing experience, you know, either. So it's all brand new. And so I think we're going to see a lot of progression. It's going to be cool to see. And at the end, I'm going to kick your ass.
How many days a week are you going?
Just 2. He's like, look, you can come as much as you want. He's like, the more you come, obviously, the more you're going to progress. He's like, I'm like, well, what do most people do where they can like still recover and still enjoy it and all this? He's like, if you come twice a week, he's like, you should progress pretty good. He's like, because I'm going to have you do some stuff on your own too. And he's like, most of the stuff you should do by yourself is conditioning work.
Yeah.
So, because he's like,
what do you guys do? Tell me about it.
Well, he just taught us. First, he taught us like, it's funny because you think you know how to punch.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much of your punching comes from your hips.
Yeah.
So he taught us proper punching technique. He taught us different punches, you know, like hooks, uppercuts, fucking all that, right? Then he put us through some combination. We hit the bags. We did some kicks. I'm like, listen. He's like, we're gonna do some kicks. I'm like, listen. We're just
keep the feet on the ground, man.
Yeah, and we did legs the day before, and both of our legs are destroyed right now.
He's like, we're gonna do some kicks. I'm like, look, just keep them low. Do some calf kicks.
He's like, that's an effective kick too, calf kick.
We'll start with that. That sounds good.
So we did some kicks, and that's it. Most of it was all striking. But he's like, next week we'll get into like some jiu-jitsu and some grappling and stuff. So anyway, it was fucking awesome. It's cool, like to find something new. So
Yeah, I was surprised how sore my shins got though from kicking fast. Like after a couple kicks already, I was like, "Holy fuck, this hurts."
I didn't mind that too. It didn't bother me. I don't know if it's because because I have the bag at our gym,
Yeah,
and when I hit the bag, sometimes I'll do those kicks. So it didn't. Maybe that's why it didn't feel like it bothered me that much. But I saw you kicking it with your foot a few times, and that's
I know. My form was shit. Yeah, so my foot was. Yeah, I've been limping around all day for the last couple days.
Yeah, no, it was. But watching these guys do it, like you really learn to like appreciate the level. Like when he was kicking, like he'd kick the bag and the bag would fucking swing like,
Yeah,
and then we would kick the bag and the bag's like just barely move.
yeah. Yeah, we could barely get our leg up. His leg's up here.
And just the speed and like which he twists his hips and snaps his leg. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, the guy's like, I don't know, 180 pounds maybe, but still, it's like just like really impressive to see the efficiency
Skill.
of somebody. Yeah, and the skill level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
He's
that
a cool guy too. I like Travis. He's doesn't make it like he makes you feel comfortable. You know, he's like he
Did you
knows
guys
where we're
know
at.
this guy know this school beforehand?
Well, Summer bought me a package there. Remember we talked about it a long time ago?
Yeah.
Summer bought me like a package there like 2 Christmases ago, and I never went. And so I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I my wife bought me this package. I haven't been yet. And they're like, it's cool. It doesn't expire. Do you want to come? Are you ready to come in? And I was like, yeah. So he knew who I was from like watching bodybuilding shit, but like we don't like none of us know each other. But he was just really cool and really like.
Yeah.
It's just weird when you walk because like I know a lot of people when they walk into the gym for the first time, they're intimidated and they expect us to, or if they talk to like
a good welcoming atmosphere.
yeah, like a lot of times when people talk to a pro bodybuilder, they're like, oh, I didn't realize that you guys were like just down to earth. It's kind of like that. So you go in there with this expectation of like this fighting gym and like everybody's just cool. Everybody's just cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was a little bit.
When you get people that like love what they do, they're generally excited to like share that, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like
what it
when I'm
seems
at
like
the
with
gym
him.
and someone asks me a question about like if I'm just like doing a set or something, and someone's like, hey, that exercise you were doing, like, what does that work? Or something like I want to talk about this. I'm excited to talk about this shit, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, this is shit that I've spent my life doing. Like I'm excited to share my knowledge, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
5 minutes in though, I was drenched, and I was like, "Fuck, they're gonna think that I'm, some fucking old man."
Wait till you get on the ground. It's gonna be
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's funny, Mike, because he said like, oh, we're gonna do jiu-jitsu, we'll do some ground stuff, and I was like, and this is at the end when me and Paul are both like, our shirts are soaked and our shirts are dripping from the bottom.
you
That's
could
how,
wring them out.
So I'm like, listen, man, like this is how I sweat. I sweat like this all the time. I'm like, I don't know if you want to be like grappling with me, dude. I'm like, I don't know like how that works. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, we all sweat. Doesn't big. I'm like, I don't think you know.
They're
Like,
gonna be slipping off of us. That's gonna be our best defense, our sweat.
I said that to Ben. Ben's like, yeah, that's a technique. He's like sweating their mouth and shit, and then they don't know what to do.
Rate their eyes. We're gonna rate their eyes. That's what we'll make our move.
Anyway, Ian, what's going on with you, man? What's going on this week?
Not much. Went to Melissa's parents yesterday. Enjoyed the beautiful weather. Went on the boat. You know, threw their parents on the tube and fucked them up.
Really?
Yeah, they
Really?
never
They go on
wanted
the
to go
tube?
on it, but we convinced them to go on it because it was such a nice day. So like, got them to go in the water, and then got them up on the tube. And her mom's like, "Just don't flip us off. Like, we want to like go on it, but like don't go crazy."
Yeah.
So I was going for a while, like taking it easy, and then I saw another boat like coming crossing our path. So I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." So I turned so that I could like double wake them. So I turned back into my wake as their wake came, and they like double bounced and just fucking blew them right off. But at first, I didn't know they'd come off, and Melissa's like, they're off. So I turn around and go back. Her mom's like gasping for air. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna be fucked up, you know? But then once they got back on the boat, they were like, that was awesome, like having fun. You know? So,
That's so
thank
great.
God. Thank God I didn't kill them, you know.
They're wearing life vests or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But man, it was so nice out there yesterday. Like the weather was so nice. The lake, the water was so warm. It was so good.
Was it just the 4 of you?
Yeah.
So you were driving, obviously.
Yeah, me and Melissa were on the boat, and the parents were in there. And before that, then Melissa and I went out on the tube, and her dad was driving.
Fuck, that's awesome. I haven't got. We haven't had a chance to do anything like that. We didn't do anything like that at the cottage, but I think it's because it was like kind of shit weather. How's your prep going?
Are we cutting this out? Are we talking about this now, or
I don't know.
we're gonna have to cut this out? We need to. We'll talk about it between us, but we gotta cut this.
Oh, okay. Well, do these guys don't know, right?
Do they not?
I don't know. I didn't tell them.
Oh,
We can cut this out. Go ahead.
Yeah. I've
I thought you might. I thought you wanted to talk about it, but I didn't know if you were ready or not.
no, I'll do the announcement on my channel first, and then we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I've made the official decision last week to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm just ready, man. I've been doing this 15 years. Like, you know, you think of someone that started at 25 and goes till they're 40. I started at 18. I'm 33, you know, so I've been doing this a long time. And it was just getting, honestly, harder for me to keep going when the passion wasn't there the same. And the fear of like my long-term health was like looming with me, you know, like I still have a good bill of health and I want to keep it that way. And like, you know, I'm at the point now, like Melissa and I want to have kids and shit. And like,
Yeah.
you know, I was having like fucking anxiety attacks about like dying at 50, you know, and like having kids and then like that shit. And, you know, whether it was like logical or not at this point, it was just getting to the point where you can justify that in your mind when you still really love competing in bodybuilding. I'm like, look, I still love training and like the shit that got me into bodybuilding, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, the actual competing itself and stuff is just like, you know, I've run that course and lived that life and like I'm ready for the next chapter of life, you know?
Oh, well, sounds like you're happy with it.
No, it was definitely after I made the decision, it was like a sense of relief and excitement, honestly. And I had the best fucking sleep that night that I'd had in a decade, you know?
Really?
Okay,
So
massive. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
so you know you made the right decision.
Yeah, no, I'm not even
Good.
questioning it 1%, to be honest, you know? Like,
Good. I'm happy for you.
this had been a feeling that I'd had for a long time, like at least a year, you know?
Yeah.
And to, you know, finally, like, it obviously wasn't an easy decision when it was like really feeling like that time was coming. But once I made it, I was like very confident in the decision for sure.
It's
Yeah.
like a
happy for you.
massive weight off your shoulders.
A
Yeah.
huge weight off my shoulders,
You
man.
seem-
Just like,
Yeah.
like-
You look like
Hey.
you look like you're 10 years younger already.
I
For
know.
whatever reason, you know? You look like just less stressed, whatever. You look
But, you know,
happy.
and, and like Fu, I do, like he was just talking about, you know, like new, you know, goals and things to be excited about. Like, you know, like I've lived my entire adult life up to this point, like since I was a teenager doing bodybuilding, you know, so to be excited to do something different, like new fitness goals, new training goals, like whatever it is, you know, like Mike said, I'll be the fucking next professional sprinter here, you know, like whatever the fuck it is. But
That's
Good.
you know what? I didn't even realize that's what I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is because since I was 20 years old, because I started bodybuilding at 20, and it was right after football. So like my entire adult life has been bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I've never done anything else.
no, me neither.
Yeah, I never
No,
even looked at.
I
I never
mean,
even looked at
and
it that
like,
way.
And that's been like a full time, like 6 meals a day, never missing workouts for
Yeah.
15 straight years, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this, as of this year, like I've been pro for a decade, you know?
Yeah.
You've been in the
So,
game a
I
while
mean, I've been
for a young
pro
guy.
since fucking, you know, for 10 years. So like,
That's
you
what-
know, I've done 30 shows, like, you know, like I've lived a long life of bodybuilding. And, you know, when I was having this conversation with my mom too, and like we were talking about, and she asked me the question, she's like, if you were to say, come top 5 at this Olympia, would it make you feel any different? And my honest answer is it wouldn't, you know?
Really?
Like that's just not what gets me excited anymore. Like I've been up on that stage 5 times. Like I've won a bunch of pro shows. I've been second at the Arnold. Like it's not something that reaching new goals in that world like really makes me excited for like it used to, you know?
Well,
So-
well, I'm happy for you. Sounds like the best decision for you.
I agree. I mean,
I'm gonna send you an extra large pizza right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you eaten anything shitty?
yeah, for sure.
Like what? I don't believe you.
I had
He's like, I had ketchup on my meal.
McDonald's one night, had some fucking McDonald's, had a
really?
blizzard, or a McFlurry there. I fucking
Did you have some Doritos?
I had a few things. Yeah,
That's your thing, eh?
Did you have some Doritos?
I had some Doritos. Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
Melissa made some like homemade cookies. I had those with some ice cream and fucking Cool Whip all over them and shit, you know?
Good.
Oh, you know what's great about this? Melissa cooks, so he can have whatever
Yeah.
the fuck he wants now.
We got to get another cottage
Even
weekend.
right before I trained before this, and then I got home, she made me some like nice pasta with like a olive oil, garlic, onion,
Oh.
fucking sauce in it with some steak. It was fucking great, you know?
We got to get together again so Melissa can cook for all of us now.
Winter vacation. Winter vacation.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was thinking about that. I'm like, now that he's not doing the fucking Olympia, we can all get together again.
Yeah.
And like, I'm
Um,
gonna come to the Olympia and fucking hang out with you guys and fucking chill at the booth, do whatever, you know? Like I
Well,
can
that's
be part. Like honestly, I knew it was also a right decision when I was more excited to attend the Olympia as a spectator than go on stage. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like I was like, I've been up there. I'm not that excited to go up. Like it didn't make me excited. Like I was feeling anxious, and I knew my body was following my mind. This prep, you know.
Yeah.
And like you and I talked about this. You said like, you know, it gets to a point where it's like you can feel that your your body is following what you're feeling, you know?
Yes.
And like I could tell that my like head wasn't in it in the same way. And I've been trying to do stuff. I'm like, I've been trying, went and trained with Mike, and I, did things that like, made me feel it. But what I was feeling was an excitement for training again. Like training with Mike made me excited to train more, but that's not what I was missing.
Not to
I wasn't
compete.
missing a love for training. I still love training. I'm going to train the rest of my life, but I don't want to be 300 pounds, and I don't want to, I want to feel excited about the future and not anxious about it. And yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Good for you, man.
One of the things that I think I recognized after the 17 Arnold, I felt like my body wasn't the same. And then in 18, 19, I tried to compete both years. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and like get ready for a show.
Yeah.
Even again, actually, the last time was in 20 when I was a little bit downsized. But I kept trying to get ready, and same thing. I wasn't. The feeling when you're like fully in and you're like, I'm going, no matter what, I'm fucking going. I'm getting on that fucking stage. I didn't have that same. I love training. I love, even actually, I was enjoying dieting and like seeing the changes in my physique. But I didn't have that, like, I can't wait to get to the stage and get on stage.
Yeah, see, I have all the other parts of it except for the actual competitive bodybuilding. Like, look, I still love to train. I still, like, it's not that eating on a diet is hard for me or something that I like dread or anything like that. It's, it really came down to just like, I would just wanted to feel excitement and fulfillment in something new outside of bodybuilding now, I'm like, look, do I still think I could be a competitive bodybuilder and do well at the professional stage for a few more years? For sure. I mean, I just won Toronto Pro like not that long ago. Do I think I could still be good at the Olympia level? My physique, I'm still young. Like, I don't think that I've lost a step per se. But I think it's something like that, especially at this level. You have to be, to get continued progress at this point, you have to do more than you've done, Like, you can't just keep doing the same thing and expecting to just continually progress forever. Like the training's got to be pushed more, the drugs, the whatever it is. And I just got to a point where like, it just wasn't something that I wanted to do, like where I'm like, fuck man, like I want to, live life outside of bodybuilding. I want to be excited about training again. I want to be excited about my life again, and yeah, it was just, it was a very hard decision until it was made. And then it felt like the easiest decision I'd ever made,
One of the things I respect about it most is, and I did this myself, is most guys won't make that decision. They're forced into that decision.
Yeah.
So like you said, you're still competitive. Like you just won a show against Hassan. Hassan's a great bodybuilder. So it's not like you're not competitive and that you wouldn't be competitive at the Olympia. So most guys would never think of taking a break or retiring in that vein. Most people would go.
And I still have like, and I want to make this very clear to anyone listening. Like, I have a complete, and you guys know this, I have a completely clean bill of health. Like, I have good heart scans. I have a 0 calcium score. My blood work is good. Like, I've had no health scares or anything that has forced me, or injuries or anything that's forced me out of this. This was completely a personal decision for me and like what I want my life to look like going forward,
That's what I respect about it most, because that's what I mean is everything is clicking.
Yeah.
But you're just, because most guys, like, look, if everything, like when I retired, it was like, wow, my body's just not like, my stomach is a little bigger, my limbs are a little smaller, like my kidneys aren't good, like it's time to, like I have to, like I have no choice, right? And there's guys that even when they have issues that we know of, like I won't mention, but we know guys that have issues in the past that will just keep going anyway because they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
No, and I wanted, I wanted to have all that walking out of bodybuilding. I want to feel like I still had a physique that could like do things, and a body that was able to do things outside of bodybuilding, like that if I want to get into doing something different, like you guys doing fucking MMA, or if I want to run, or if I want to do, fucking Matt
freedom now.
Revive, like they're doing fucking triathlons, like whatever I wanted to do from a physical standpoint, my body is still 100% able to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So it's like the door is open to, achieve new goals in the fitness world, whatever they are,
I think when it's time for the next stage in life, like for you, it's right now. For Fouad, as a four, for Mike, when you went out of security into personal training, like, when it's time to do something else.
But that's the thing, Paul, is I think everybody somehow knows, like deep down in their heart.
Yeah.
But I don't think guys, and I would venture to say 9 out of 10 guys don't know when to pull the trigger.
or maybe
don't-
drag on too long.
or don't know how to pull the trigger because they're like, well,
Yeah.
else am I-" you know, like me and Mike had a conversation about when he was bodyguarding, and he's like, and I remember Mike told me, he said, I felt like my life was going to be over if I didn't do this anymore, even though I didn't want to.
Mhm.
That's the same feeling that I think any professional athlete has or professional bodybuilder has, because it's all you know. You've been, like Ian said, he's doing it since 18. I did it since I was 20. You're a pro for a decade or more. It's like you don't know anything else. So there's this terrifying fear of like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? How am I going to make money? How am I going to live? Like, what's life going to be like? So it's even more
like, you know, and I also look, that was definitely a fear I had initially, but then when I really like sat and thought about it, I'm like, look, I'm not planning on disappearing from the world. Like, I'm still gonna, this is a whole new world of different things I can do now in terms of like, you know, well, for my sponsors and content and stuff like that. Like, this is still a lot of stuff that I think people would be interested in seeing, you know, what I do after this in terms of my training, my nutrition, you know, like whatever I decide to do next in my fitness goals. Like, this is stuff that I think people would be interested to see outside of bodybuilding, you know?
And now you're free to
There's
do it.
There's a lot of people in, like, not in your position, obviously, because you're a top pro bodybuilder, but like I was talking to Fuad about, it's like when you get over fear, like you get past fear, like that's when life begins, right? So it's like you made this decision. There's nothing stopping you from changing your mind or continuing to go. But the thing is, you actually took the time to make that decision, and now everything after that is like, you see how relieved you are.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm free to do what I want no matter what I want. I can change my mind. I can keep going on the path I want. I can do whatever I want. But I made that, like, I jumped over that hurdle, and now I get to see who I am, right?
Yeah.
And now people are terrified to do that. Like, so many people are terrified to do that.
one of the things, you know, me and Mike talked about also. We were talking about life after bodybuilding and how you're stuck, like, you think people like you because of your physique, right? Like, this is something I went through. You're like, well, people like me because I'm a bodybuilder. But then when I started the podcast, and you still have fans, even though I haven't been on stage in fucking, 5 years, Mike was like, people don't just like us because we train. They like us because of your personality or what you bring to the industry, your professionalism, your knowledge.
I think that about myself, like, when I think of why people are attracted to me, the people that follow me and like me, look, obviously some of it will be because of my physique, but I think even those people that like me because of my physique like it because of, how I'm unspoken with my opinions, about the knowledge that I share, like, how I speak about things. Like, I think there's a different level of, interest there that is aside from my physique,
Yeah,
and I'm also like I said, I mean, I think there's a whole different world of things to explore here that people would still be interested to see in terms of, what I do with my physique, what I do with my training, what I do with my nutrition that's not directly into competitive bodybuilding, right?
Well, there's a whole list of, bodybuilding YouTubers that have never competed, and they just that's all they do is show transformations and this and that. So, like, the thing is that helped me with my channel, that will help you also, is whatever you do now comes with the credibility of 10 years of professional experience.
Yeah.
So it's like you're able to talk about whatever you want to, or, give whatever knowledge you want to, and people are going to listen more so because of the background.
Yeah. But I got to say too, like, when I, talk to anyone about this, like talk to Chris or Dom or Matt or like any of these guys, or even you guys, like, it was nothing but support and excitement for me, like, or my friends or my mom or Melissa or anything. It wasn't like, oh shit, are you sure? Like, blah, blah, blah. It was like, fuck, man, like, this is exciting. Like, I'm excited for you.
That's not totally
Because you're happy about it.
You were too.
That's not totally true.
Wait. You just wanted to make sure of why I was making the decision.
Well,
once you understood my reason for it, you were generally excited for me, and you were like, "Fuck, man, this is cool. This is exciting. Like, there's so much shit we can do now."
Well, my initial reservation, because we had a discussion last week. My initial reservation is, like Mike was saying about fear. People who are generally have a little bit more anxiety can justify any decision they want to in their mind to succumb to their fear.
Sure.
And it's only later that you look back and go, oh, fuck, I didn't make the right decision. I was just scared of XYZ.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my point, because I've done that in my past, not necessarily because of bodybuilding, but in any like major decision, sometimes I've talked myself
I've done
out
it
of them.
before too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked myself out of them and then looked back like after the decision was made and gone, oh fuck, that was just I made that decision out of fear, not out of rationale.
No.
So that was kind of like,
mine was like, you know, and obviously when you said that, I was like, I sat and I thought about it, you know?
yeah.
But you know what, I know in my heart of hearts, like when I make this decision, it's because it's just not that same level of excitement there that I can't, you know, I want to be excited about life. I want to be optimistic about life. I want to be, you know, I want to enjoy new things in life. You know, I've done this my entire adult life, and I'm just ready for the next chapter of like what this has for me, you know, whether it's like, you know, becoming a father with Melissa, whether it's, you know, fucking running goddamn ultra marathons, whatever the fuck it is, you know. I've lived that life. I've done it at the highest level. I've proved to myself that I can do it at the highest level. You know, I've been as strong as you can be. I've been fucking one of the biggest guys. I've done it all, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just something that's like, it feels like a check mark that's been like checked. And I'm like, I'm good, you know, like I'm good. I've lived that. I'm very happy with what I've done in bodybuilding. You know, Toronto was like kind of like a bucket list one for me to like win both those Canadian shows, which I did over the last 2 years. And it's just like, all right, you know, there's a peace about it. Like, it's like a peace and a calm of like, I'm ready for the next chapter, you know?
Yeah. I gotta say though, there's two things I want to say. As a fan, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Because I like cheering you on as a fan. Sure. But also I have to say, for any if there's any young bodybuilders out there, or like, you know, top amateurs that are just turning pro, this is kind of the blueprint for how you do it. And it's almost kind of the same way Jay did it. Like, what I'm trying to say is, it's a beautiful thing to be able to say, I did this thing that had a lot of risk, and because I was diligent in my career and I paid attention to my health, I was able to walk away scot-free.
Yeah.
So like, that's a major thing that I don't think is talked about enough, or enough bodybuilders focus on, because you've never been a binge guy. You don't eat shitty food. You're not heavy with your fucking cycles. Not like, you've been pretty responsible all the way through.
Yeah, your progression's always been like that. It's never been like you made one huge jump one year or something, you know. But
it's not even about making a huge jump. I just mean like all of the things that most guys think you need to make great progress are usually like very extreme, right? Like either they get like extremely bulked out like I did, or take a ton of drugs like I did, like stuff like that can affect your health, and then you end up walking away with an issue. Whereas this is the blueprint. If you're a little bit more responsible with your eating and your training and not as much your training, but with your eating and your supplements, then you could potentially walk away and still be good.
And that was honestly one of the things that like I really thought about. I was like, you know, I could do this for another year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. But I know how I feel now, and I know that my body is healthy now, and that like I said before, like I can walk out of this and do whatever the fuck I want, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's you know, I can walk away with this and not be concerned about the future like that, where I was starting to be like, fuck, you know, like when your heart's not in it quite the same, and you know what it takes to be that level of bodybuilder, there's this like looming fear of like, fuck, you know, like if I push this one more year, is that going to be the year where something goes wrong, where if I'd stopped last year, I might've been okay, you know?
Well, that's the thing.
And I'm like, I'm happy with everything I've accomplished. And I'm just like, I'm good. I'm ready, you know?
I just want to clarify that point that you said, because you were like, I know what it takes, or I don't want people to get the wrong idea. You don't mean like I had to go to another level of supplementation. You mean like just another year of what you're doing could be just the time it takes.
Yeah. Like, well, because like, let's be serious, being this big, and even if you are being conservative in the world of pro bodybuilding drugs, there's still obviously risk, you know? And I'm not saying that like people should stop bodybuilding. I think if you love bodybuilding, like I did, and I have in my life, you know, then you should pursue what you love. But I think there gets to a point where it's like, you need to weigh this in your mind of like, what's going to make you feel right and make you feel good and safe and like optimistic. And it just came to a point where that scale had kind of tipped, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's other things I want to do in my life, and I want to walk out of it feeling like I can do all those, and I have like my health and my body, like my, you know, I have no injuries, I have no tears, like I got no, you know, anything crazy going on. I got a clean bill of health, and it's like that makes me excited about the next thing. So I'm like, I know I can do that and pour myself into it and be excited about it, you know.
Mike, do you have any thoughts on it?
I'm happy for him. I think it's a great thing. Like me and Fuad spoke about your situation like privately a while back when you first were having issues with stuff. Like not like Fuad came to me telling me all the stuff. He just kind of mentioned what was happening, and I just my advice and my whole thought process was like he needs to just do whatever makes him happy. Like, and if you're his friend, then you're happy with that too, right? So it's like it's hard to like we want to push you because we think you're so great.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, it's like you being on stage at the Olympia is cool and everything, but you being just Ian is pretty cool too, dude. So we're like, just do what you gotta do, man. They like you regardless. Same with everyone who follows you, like you said. Like they don't give a fuck, dude. Like they love to see you up there and they love seeing you in shows and stuff. But like it's going to be the same response if someone sees you in public when you decide now that you're retired or even before. It's just like that's Ian. Like I don't give a fuck what place he came in. I just like Ian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, man.
Thank you.
What is so you say you want to do other things with your life. Is there a list, or you just mean like in general? Is there something that you can like point to that, like, yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a while, but I was bodybuilding?
Yeah, I mean, like you and I talked about it, you know, like I want to feel that I could run again, you know, like run at like a good level and like feel athletic, you know, like obviously I still want to have muscle and still feel muscular and feel strong and stuff like that. And I think even for long-term health, I think weight training and, you know, having muscle tissue is very important, which I obviously, you know, and like why I got into bodybuilding. I got into it because I loved training, you know, and also like over time, and this isn't a reason to stop bodybuilding, but it was something that obviously I felt already, is the dynamic of the joy of training changes after a time, you know, like when there's that pressure of like every workout, every meal, like all these are so important. What I initially started it for, of like the love of training, it changes, you know, and that's why like I was, you know, reaching out to Mike to go train these things and like that. Like I was trying to find something to reignite in me, which it did in the training, but not into bodybuilding, you know.
I think I can understand that, because me and Paul will fuck around with different techniques. And I think it's what keeps me loving going back to the gym.
No, and it's like, you know, and it's like if now it's like, you know, my buddy texts me on a Tuesday, he's like, hey, I'm training chest day. You want to train? But fuck yeah, it's not chest day for me, but fuck it, you know, like this is great. You know, it can be more of a enjoyable social activity where I can still like push myself in the gym and still enjoy training. But there's like a newfound love for it there, because there's not the pressure of like every single workout being so important to like, you know, what it means, you know?
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, so when I retired, I was like, because when I was bodybuilding, I wanted a motorcycle, but I didn't want to get it because I was bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And then I retired. I'm like, okay, now I'm doing it. Even it took me a couple of years, but is there something like that you thought while you were bodybuilding, you're like, I want to do this other than running?
Face tats. Face tats.
I'm getting the whole head done. I can finish the sleeve now, you know? I mean, just a ton of things, man. I mean, you know, whether it's like things like, you know, I love snowboarding, you know, we went this past winter and I really couldn't enjoy it. I was fucking terrified the whole time. I'm like, if I fall and I hurt myself, this is a big fucking deal. Where like now I can go, you know, Melissa loves snowboarding too. These are things like we can go on fucking trips and do that kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
You know, whether it's running, whether it's snowboarding, whether it's fucking, you know, like I said, having a kid and just being able to get on the floor and play with my kid, not take 10 minutes to get back off the fucking floor, you know?
Sweat the whole time.
Now I get down the floor to play with my dogs. I'm like, babe, you got to help me up, you know?
You have to worry about your meals. You don't have to worry about all that stuff now, you know?
No, like, you know, like I still want to be healthy and I still want to feel good and look good and be in shape and stuff like that. Like that's never going to change for me. Like that's who I am.
But the stress of your livelihood, depending on it, is gone.
But that is gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this the retired podcast now?
Yeah. I guess so. Oh, I guess so now, eh? You're the only active one at the end.
Ian,
we needed you.
You were holding it down for us, man.
Now it's just four old guys.
Change the name to fucking retired chat.
Old chat.
Yeah.
No, I got some surprises up my sleeve. It's all good. Okay. Well, Ian, we all wish you the best, dude. I know you're going to be just as awesome in retirement. And actually, I got to tell you, I told you this on the phone. Ian's retirement is what inspired me to go to the MMA club.
Yeah.
Because he sounded so excited to go running. I'm like, fuck, man, I got to do this shit because I've been
Yeah,
talking
need a
about it.
challenge.
I've been talking about it for years. So I'm like, he sounds excited. It made me excited. I'm like, okay, I'm going. Fuck it, got to do
So my
it.
goal is by the time I'm 35 to run a sub 11 second 100 meter, and I'm going to do it 100%.
There's no way.
That's
I'm
quick.
sorry, I love you, but there's no way.
Yeah, you're white, Ian, and you got short legs.
No, it's good. No problem.
You're
Yeah.
white, you got short legs.
Well, they're
I got
not like
long
the
legs,
long
bro. I
stride.
got the
What weight?
legs.
What
Well,
weight
you're
do you
only
think
5'8"
you'll
or
have to
so.
get to run that?
220.
I think 225, 230, I could probably do it. Yeah.
To run an under 11 second 100 meter dash.
I mean, I went and ran one with one of my buddies and Chris. No, Chris I ran a 60 with, but we went and ran one in like 2015, 16.
Yeah,
And
you're
I was
telling
like
us.
270 at the time, and I could run like a low 12 second 100 meter at 270.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I think if I got 40 pounds off that, and like, you know, obviously when I was running